Hello, and welcome back to the Rose Garden. I have this guy with me now today. Yay, he's back.
Yay.
I'm not alone anymore.
Your viewership will drop again.
Yay! And today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite video game series, Dragon Age. So, originally we got Dragon Age 1 because I watched my sister-in-law play it and I really enjoyed it, so I thought we would enjoy it. And I love the story. I make him play, though, because the mechanics are just too clunky for me. I don't enjoy that.
Whereas I really love Dragon Age Origins because it's just kind of a point and click, try and kill this enemy. Just basically walk through the whole game unless you set the difficulty pretty damn high. Otherwise, I really just enjoy it purely from a story aspect and from getting armor for my characters. It's fun.
I like the story. I love the story. But, I really liked it. I don't like all the DLC. The, Darkspawn Chronicle one was kind of lame. But...
yeah, Awakening is really good, though.
yes, Awakening was definitely worth the money. Though, we downloaded it, like, at midnight when it came out, so it was glitchy and your character was, like, stuck.
Yeah, it still happens sometimes, but, I definitely say Dragon Age Origins is one of the top 10 best RPGs ever made, and the Awakening DLC or expansion, however you want to call it, is probably the best expansion or DLC ever made.
It was pretty inclusive. You just couldn't get, like, your Helm upon Leaf in there or whatever.
Yeah, expansion content from previous expansions didn't transfer over from the main game.
And then we were excited when Dragon Age 2 came out because, I don't know, we just really wanted to play more Dragon Age. And
Who wouldn't want that?
you can put it closer, you know. Yes. And we got the game guide for that one. We don't have the game guide for the first one. So it's got the Chantry seal on it. And that's what I've been playing over the weekend while he was gone because it's kind of a simple game to play. It's only like 30 hours, I think.
It's like Dragon Age 2 is a lot more actiony. The levels are a bit more repetitive, but it's a decent game. It just really could have been more.
Yes, you can feel that they rushed through it, but it was still fun. And I learned how to play that one. He would wander off and do something, and I would just pick up the controller and poke it and be like, well, what does this do? And eventually we just started me my own account. And then when we were done with that, and they hadn't even announced the third game yet, I had gotten a free copy of one of the chapters from the comics. And I just thought it was cool, so I bought the hardbacks when they came out. And it's the story of Isabella, Varric, and Alistair. And it's kind of fun, and they go exploring for Alistair's father.
It's a really good story post Dragon Age 2 to see some of the, well, more history of Thedas, this land that they've created.
And then, because I wanted more lore, we started getting the novels. So you start with The Stolen Throne, which is the story of Merrick, which is Alistair and Kaelin's, their father. And you learn that Loghain wasn't always a complete tool bag. He just was kind of a tool bag.
And the first 3 books in the Dragon Age series were all written by the primary author of all the game lore for Dragon Age 1, 2, and Inquisition.
The Calling has Merrick helping wardens in the Deep Roads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that's kind of fun.
It's kind of a, hey, what was Duncan, the respected Grey Warden from Dragon Age Origins, like when he was younger?
Not as cool. Asunder, which I gotta remember what that's about.
It's kind of a prequel to Inquisition, because Cole is introduced in a lot of the mage collectives and archives. Like, they're thinking about leaving the Chantry.
You also, this is where they start introducing the idea that you can reverse the Rite of Tranquility. Then you have the Masked Empire, which is all about Empress Selene and the Empire of Orlais. And it gives you the context of why Orlais is in a civil war by Inquisition. So I like that.
And the sad thing about that novel is it's a really good novel with really good characterizations, and then Dragon Age Inquisition comes out, and
They're all flat.
yeah, like Celine is just a one-note character in there, and there's so much other history and lore in these novels that never gets brought up. Like, Alistair's mother is revealed. She shows up at Inquisition. She doesn't tell him that she's his mother, and it doesn't have any bearing on the story.
And then this last novel, I haven't read it yet, but he has, and it's Last Flight, and it's about the Griffins.
It's a bit of a time travel epic. 95% of it all happens hundreds of years before Dragon Age, but it's a person who discovered an archive and finds out that griffins might be able to be hatched by the Great Wardens again by the end of Inquisition. So we'll see if that has any impact in the rumored, pretty much confirmed fourth game that's going to be coming out for the Dragon Age universe.
And then, because again, I like lore, we got the World of Thetis Volume 1, so it has like a timeline and pictures, and it's cool, and it has some of the stories from the game. And that was like the prep to get ready for Inquisition, which I was a sucker. Oh, and I got the big collector's box, because they advertised it as the last game. It's not.
Yeah, the expansions, what was that? Trespasser was the last one?
Yes.
And that was actually really good.
But it didn't end
Didn't
anything.
conclude the game.
Which is just disappointing.
But it was definitely a worthy follow-up to Inquisition. And we have the game guide for Inquisition, and this is the steelbook case that came with that big collector's edition there.
Which is cool. It has, like, the map of Thetis, because they told you you'd get to travel all of Thetis, and that was also a lie.
Oh well.
And then following that, they came out with the World of Thetis Part 2, which covered everything that happened in Inquisition, and they might even cover a little extra, I don't remember. But, yeah, I really enjoy the lore of it. For the most part, they're consistent. There's a few inconsistencies that I find annoying, but I'm a picky person when it comes to that. That's my downfall.
And one of the reasons that Dragon Age is such a good series is that BioWare, the company that worked on it, used to work on this series of games called Baldur's Gate, which were all based off of Dungeons and Dragons. Whereas for Dragon Age, when they first started writing the lore for it, they wanted to do something that was kind of a follow-up to Baldur's Gate, but also combined with the new fantasy like Game of Thrones with a bit less sex. There's tons of blood, and most of the trailers involve heavy metal, badass music.
And I also really love the series because you can play a man or a woman. You can play... in the beginning, you can only play a couple races, but by Inquisition, you can play dwarves, elves, humans, Qunari, and I really enjoy that. And then by Inquisition, pretty much anybody is open to relationships with other races and genders.
And there's plenty of racists in all the games, which is just fine, but there's very few sexists, which is cool if you're a female gamer or someone wants to see a female perspective on life.
The only real big one was in the first game when you go to Redcliffe and you talk to like the mayor or whatever. He's like, a female warden, I didn't know that they existed. And you're like, got a problem with that? He's like, no, I just wanted to break it up. Like, okay. And then I love and hate, in Inquisition everyone praised that Dorian was, the first openly gay character. Like, outright gay. But then we don't talk about the fact that Sarah the elf is a lesbian, outright. Like, she doesn't want a man.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the character Krem, who is transgendered. And they did such a wonderful job on him.
Krem is the best character from Dragon Age Inquisition.
And I'm so mad he's not a love interest because he's so complex and lovable.
And I do share the complaints that some people have about Dragon Age 2, where all of your romance options are the crappier, more broken compatriots. Like, they have lots of mental problems, and in real life you probably wouldn't want to be with them. Whereas your
why? Just because one is an abomination, one wants to kill all slavers, one wants to be an abomination, one is a crazy pirate who could just backstab you.
Whereas two of your party members, Varric and Aveline,
who are the best,
are not romanceable because...
And then you can't romance Varric in Inquisition either. I made a
Yes.
dwarf just so I could be his partner, and then it's like, nope.
But no, because Varric's heart belongs to Bianca, who broke it or something.
Whom, in the comics, I felt like they wrote her as dead and then not dead.
Yes, in the comics it was heavily hinted that she was dead, but from a Star Wars certain point of view, she was apparently still alive the whole time.
Yeah, they just decided that she had left his life.
Whereas Aveline is the only stable female role model in Dragon Age 2, finds a stable, wonderful person to fall in love with that she can help her do on a side quest. I assume if you refuse to do that side quest, then that gets messed up.
And I do love, like I said, the continuity, so you have all your characters in Dragon Age 1, and in Dragon Age 2 you get to meet Leliana again, you get to meet Zevran again, you get to meet Nathaniel Howe again, Anders, technically Isabella, but you'd have to know her to recognize that it's her because they completely changed her character. And then in Inquisition you have Leliana, Cassandra Pentagast, technically Zevran if you count board quests, and then Cullen. Oh yeah, Cullen is in all three games, which is kind of cool.
And he gets better over time, because in Dragon Age Origins, you hate his guts and he's an awful person.
He's so whiny.
In Dragon Age 2, he's slightly better, and by the end of that game, you're like, well, I'm glad that dude's on my side. And Dragon Age Inquisition, he is an ultimately great man who is just as good as Alistair was in Dragon Age Origins.
What are the cats doing?
They're supposedly playing.
That's his life. Is there anything cool about Dragon Age I want to talk about?
Yeah, it's one of those games that we replay at least once a year every year because it's so good.
Yeah, we cycle through Legend of Zelda, the Fallout series, Dragon Age series. Safety. That's about all I have, I think.
Just know we love it and everyone should too.
And I hope to do more episodes like this where I talk about games or movies or shows or things that I enjoy. Probably not cats, because they don't sit still long enough for this.
Nope.
But I hope you enjoy this. Give it a like, subscribe, and we will see you later. Bye!
Meh.